Hi, I'm Steve with the Harton Law Firm, and I'm here to discuss today the very basics of Wyoming divorce law. We'll be talking about four things. Number one would be jurisdiction. Number two would be property division. Number three is child custody. And number four is the cost. So jurisdiction deals with what are the requirements of actually getting a divorce in Wyoming. Each state has their own requirements. Wyoming's primary requirement is that you have to be a resident of Wyoming for 60 days immediately prior to filing the divorce. Now, residency is kind of a term of law, and it actually means when you pick up domicile, when you actually decide to live here. So it's not like when you change your address, it's not when you first show up, it's when you actually make the decision to live here. And it's actually quite important because without that jurisdictional requirement of residency, the court cannot grant a divorce. Just last week I had a divorce case that we were doing a default on, and we had filed in February, and then my client happened to get on the stand and said that, yep, he moved to Wyoming in January, which of course is less than 60 days. So we had to go through this whole big rigmarole of explaining that he actually moved up here on Thanksgiving and started working in December and all that, and he just moved the rest of all of his remaining stuff to Wyoming in January. So anyway, it's kind of an important thing. Sometimes it matters. Most of the time, people have lived here for a lot longer than that, so it's not a big deal. But it is a requirement. The other requirement is that you have to have legally gotten married, meaning that you had a ceremony or something like that, and also that you were not married at the time that you were conducted this particular marriage. And believe it or not, that has happened. I have had a case before where the woman thought she was divorced, but she was not at the time that she got married. Her divorce actually got finalized after she married this particular person, so she had no legal marriage, therefore she could not get divorced. So I mean, these seem like trivial things, but they do actually occur sometimes. And finally, the third requirement is that you must have grounds for divorce. And many people think that the grounds for divorce is irreconcilable differences, but the actual problem that causes the irreconcilable differences is the grounds. And certain judges require that the person who wants to divorce the plaintiff actually list some grounds, the main one being adultery. The other common ones that we have are, abuse, either physical, mental, or verbal abuse. And then we have grounds often come up with that people have just, very different financial needs or ideas and things like that. But you do actually have to have grounds, and some judges are quite particular about stating grounds. So anyway, if you have those basically those three things, then you've met you are able to get a divorce in Wyoming.
This video was produced and is to be used for informational purposes only. This video is not legal advice. You only get legal advice when your lawyer applies the law to your specific fact situation.